here. Oh, this is nice. Pollock Pines, California. I know exactly where that is. San Francisco. We got a bunch of West Coasters here. Cedar Falls. Nice. Albany, New York. Good. It's a little later on the East Coast. So gang, this is the only nighttime rehearsal that we've scheduled. And the reason for that is that if we do 10 or 11 or 12 during the day, Pacific time, where I'm at in Los Angeles, then that allows us to do all the United States, plus get all of Europe and even Eastern Europe if they're staying up late, 9, 10 o'clock. If they're getting up super early, then we also can pick up Hawaii. But the thing that we've been missing, of course, in all of this is all of our friends who are singing in Asia, throughout Asia, through South Asia and Southeast Asia, and Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. And so we've been missing all those people. So we were hoping to pick up some of those singers who wanted to rehearse just a little bit and meet other people. And so hopefully that's happening now. Right now in the comments, everybody's saying hello to each other. I'm pretty sure we've got all sopranos, altos, tenors, and basses, which is beautiful. And what we'll do tonight is we'll just do a pretty simple warm-up. I'll lead you through a warm-up. And then we'll go through the piece. I just want to make sure everybody knows what the commas are and all the basic stuff in case you've missed any of the sectionals or missed the last couple of rehearsals. I'll talk just a little bit about the piece. In the last full rehearsal that I did a deep dive into the piece and why I wrote it and the construction of it. You can check all of that out. That's still archived on the Virtual Choir YouTube page. Eric Whitacre's Virtual Choir, I think is what it's called. You can check it out there. And then what we'll do is we'll sing through it a couple of times. And I've got 2 different conductor track videos. One that's conductor track, but with the sheet music underneath it. I really like this one for making music to. And then the other one, the last one we'll do is I've got the full video of the 4 guide voices on it all the way through. And I adore their voices and adore those people. Before we jump in, gang, I'm asking all of you a favor, and that is this, that you make your video and upload it as soon after this rehearsal as possible. I mean, first you'll be ready. We'll be ready to go, and don't worry about the mistakes or the lighting or any of that stuff. Just make your video and get it up there. The bigger reason is this, that I think last time I looked today, we were at something like 2,600 videos, 2,700 videos uploaded from 80 different countries. Okay, so in any other virtual choir that I would have been a part of already, this would have been this extraordinary thing. 2,600 people from 80 countries coming together to sing this piece. The thing is, we also have registered, I think it's 34,000 singers from 135 countries. That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. And the number just seems to be climbing. We seem to be adding about 1,000 registrations a day. And what I'm really worried about is that we're going to get to next Friday, the 22nd, which is when the deadline is. It's Friday the 22nd at noon. So 12 o'clock noon Pacific time in Los Angeles. So figure that out for your time zone. And that everybody is going to upload their videos at the last minute. We know from past virtual choirs that there's a huge curve right at the end. I don't know if singers all seem to be like me and procrastinate to the very end of things. But the thing is, if the servers crash, then there's no plan B. It's not that we can extend it for a couple more days to make sure all the videos are up, because we need to get to work immediately to make this massive, massive virtual choir. This is going to be far and away the largest project we've ever tackled. And so I'm worried for each and every one of you. You know, you're all here, you're making a real effort. You're concerned about getting the notes just right, that you want to sing it with as much passion and integrity as possible. I love that. And my concern is that you'll go to upload it the last possible minute and your video won't get in. And I think we're making something truly special here, something that is definitely part of something much larger than all of us. And I want you to be part of that. So please, please, please record your video as soon as possible, and tell your friends. Please tell them to record their videos as soon as possible. All right, shall we warm up a little bit? So those of you who have been with me over the sectionals know that I'm not much of a singer. I'm okay. I've got the heart of a singer. I'm all right. I can keep it tuned. But I thought it'd be fun for us just to do some warm-ups here and kind of get going. So let's start nice and low. This is bass, alto, register. Tenors, jump in when you can. And let's just start by, let's do some basic lip drills. You ready? Keep going. Nice and relaxed. Falsetto basses if you need it. One more sopranos and tenors. The reason that I laughed while I was in the middle of doing that is I just had this image. So I didn't join choir until I was 18 years old. Some of you may know about that. But when my first day in choir, I remember they started doing that, all of this, massaging the face and giving back rubs, and I was just mortified. I was embarrassed for all of humanity. I couldn't believe that people would come together voluntarily and do this during a work day. And then just now while I was doing it, I thought, if I could have told 18-year-old me that one day I'd be talking to my computer at a piano, doing this very thing, leading this with people from all over the world. That's karma, baby, karma. Good. How about let's start on an ooh, shall we? So. Yeah, good. Stretch it out a little bit here, get those bodies warmed up. All right, so ideally now, at least for all of us in the States here, it's 6, 7, 8, or 9 o'clock at night. That means you're at home and you're with your roommates or your family or significant others. And if we're doing this right, they are wondering, what is going on in that room? What is happening there? What choir geeks of the world unite? Good, let's do one more, shall we? How about we start and we'll do on no, and it'll be like on no, on no, on no. As you go up, especially sopranos and tenors, if you find yourself reaching for those notes, that's not what you want to be doing. You don't want any tension up there. So imagine the top note is actually the most effortless part. It requires the least effort. So I've got to do it in falsetto, but nice and relaxed up there. One more. Ready? Excellent. Gang, beautiful work. I weirdly feel like we're all in the same room. It's so funny. Somebody just wrote, Cindy wrote, is anyone warming up with Eric? My wife, Laurence, and I had the same question today. We're like, everybody's writing comments. Am I the only person singing right now? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm okay with that, gang. This is Coca-Cola, by the way. Good for the voice. Good for my voice anyway. Also, I know many of you are concerned that I'm putting it on the piano. So first you should know it's going on a coaster, never on the piano. And that coaster is going on top of a lampstand. So then I'm sure some of you will think, but what if the Coke spills into the piano? To which I would say to you, well, it's my piano. If I want to spill Coke in it, what are you going to do? All right, so let's sing a little Sing Gently, shall we? So starting at the top here, sopranos and altos. If we were singing together in a room, all here together in a single room, I think the effect here would be so much easier to understand than singing your individual part. So, for instance, altos, you've really got the melody here, right? And sopranos, I was joking with the altos today during the sectional that you've really got the alto line for the first time in your life. Woot woot. That's what the altos get to deal with most of their lives. The thing is, both parts I find they're simple, but they're kind of incomplete on their own. And when I wrote it, I knew it would be that way, and that's why the magic of these parts is the combination of the two, so that it's. Suddenly, you hear the melody so much more interesting because you hear each interval and the way that it plays against that top G. And then also sopranos, it's not just that you're singing the same note over and over, but with each time the altos move, you get a new. You hear the different hum in the frequencies there. For me, when I'm singing in choirs myself, and it's been this way since I was 18 years old, I just get chills all over my body every time there's a major or a minor second like that. And that's what we're missing when we do this virtual version of this. And so sopranos and altos, what I want you to do is imagine that. You can hear it a little bit in the guide tracks, and maybe that'll help some. But sopranos, when you're singing, try not to hear just the same note over and over. Try to imagine that, for instance, so that there's that special way you lean into one of those dissonances when you're singing in the same room or right next to another voice part. Then, I've talked about this a couple of times, but for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, the guiding principle of the entire piece is based musically on this idea of we lean in on beat 1 and we lean back on beat 2. It's very subtle, but it's push, pull, push, pull. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is we're trying to musically paint this kind of idea of a sense of will, and then a sense of surrender, if you will. So here at the beginning, sopranos and altos, we lean and then push, pull, push, pull. See that? Same thing. Then same thing, push, pull. See how that works? Then sopranos, I also want you to think there in 11, when you go up from that A, that's the first time you leave that G, right? But really what you're doing is, the altos now they've done all of this. And then really they're going, then up to scale, they sing up to a G, and then they hand it off to you, and that's what that A is. So try to imagine it's not just moving up an A, it's taking the line all the way up through there. Then, let me see if I can find this. Hold on one second. So I spoke a little bit about this in one of the other sectionals, but in case all of you missed it, this is a pot that my wife has been repairing. So you can see it broke. I don't know if you can see that. It's this beautiful pot that she had that broke. And what she's been doing is repairing it. So this gold here is a crack. Now this is a Japanese art form called kintsugi. And the idea is it's centuries old. You take a pot that's been broken, something special and something that you had an attachment to, something that has real value to you. And then by gluing it together, you not only make it stronger, but by using the gold, see the gold on the inside as well, you make it more beautiful than it was before. To me, it's such a gorgeous metaphor for what's happening to us right now. This idea that our people we were all broken apart into these shards. And then what we're doing now with this music and music in general is gluing it back together. This time we still see the scars, that's never gonna go away. This moment in time won't ever go away, but we can somehow use it to make us closer and stronger and more beautiful. So in the music then, we even start with the piano. So we start disparate, right? Already we're shards far apart from each other. And then the glue is always that third. And that's gonna be that way through the whole piece. So that and then you hear that kind of bittersweet, broken quality of the different shards. So sopranos and altos, last I'll say about this, then we'll sing your part, is that what you're really doing here, you start in unison. You're a whole there, and then you break. Right? You're together, then break. Together, then you break again. And then the idea is, what we're building towards is the very end of the piece, when we all sing gently as one, right? Is to hear. And we all go to the same note. We're all in unison. So suddenly we're all healed again. And then even the piano, and you hear finally that third binding us together. So beginning with these first notes, sopranos and altos, what you're doing is you're teaching the audience this metaphor through music. I doubt anybody will sit there and say, aha, kintsugi, I hear it. But what they will do is feel it. And for me, this is how all music and art should be, that there's this surface level, which is simply beautiful or seductive or interesting or terrifying, whatever that thing is, it needs to be on the surface. But then below the surface, and then below the surface, and below the surface is all of this other information, these terabytes of emotional metaphor. So that's what you're doing. When you sing those first notes, sopranos and altos, it's going to carry all of that weight in it. So let's try this. You ready, sopranos and altos? Let's sing. Here we go. From measure 5, 2, 3, go. Basses are in, fantastic altos and sopranos. In my mind, you sound spectacular. Hats off to you. I promise that's only Coke, everyone. So now, what happens here, basses, is when you enter on this G, I'd like you to think as you're recording this, that you're not just resting and counting 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. You're not just waiting for your turn to sing. You're preparing. Because when you come in, and then the tenors right after you, this is in 13, this first part is incredibly intimate and delicate, where the sopranos and altos sing. And as I said before, that's kind of that's taking the audience by the hand and saying, Come on, we have something to show you. Come with us. Then here, when we basses and tenors, when you come in, so not just singing mezzo piano, but use that word as an entrance, like a full string section. This is the first time that in 13 that our voices become cinematic. Even though we're mezzo piano, we're going to kind of open up, be this nice warm sound, right? Basses and tenors, let me hear you from there, from measure 13. 2, 3, go. Good. And basses and tenors, I just want to point out something I talked about in one of the other rehearsals, but it always makes me laugh. So you hear all of this, right, when we're doing all of these parallel fifths moving up and down. If any of you have ever been a music student, you get told almost in the first lesson in music theory, no parallel fifths. Don't write fifths that move together like this. That's stupid. Don't listen to that. Do it if you're trying to write like Bach or one of Bach's sons. Okay, so also, by the way, Bach broke that rule too. He wrote parallel fifths. But music in the 20th century, all pop and rock music is based on this kind of, right? And right? It's just, you can't have a distorted guitar without parallel fifths. And it's one of my favorite things to do with basses and tenors is to kind of, especially if you do this voicing, and then you've got bass, baritone, tenor, then you can, it's just nice and warm and full. So remember, open there. Basses and tenors, if you need a breath, first there's one that we all have to take, and this applies for altos and sopranos as well. This is measure 16. Make sure that you're taking a breath after music, and sopranos it's for others, and that you'll take a little lift there. That's where we'll all breathe together. Then on the bottom of page 3, if you have to sneak in a breath anywhere in there, that's totally fine. Somebody will be covering it, one of your thousands of compatriots who are singing with you, singing your part with you. But just make sure that the consonants, that you leave them out. For instance, if you take a breath after others, aloft. So just don't worry about that S. Otherwise, it's going to make it all muddy unless you don't breathe there. I've been asked a number of times about American R's, right? So it should be others. No, never ever. It sounds terrible. So let's do a British R. Others, aloft. And then the FT of aloft, just a nice loft. Just barely touch that right at the end so that and then we set ourselves up for the next bar for sing. Good, so sopranos and altos. Actually, let's do these separate. So altos, let's do you from measure 13. You ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 1, breath. 1, 2, 3, off. Good. Now, for all of us here, when we get to may our singing, this will be the first time that we kind of use that word to dance a little bit. Singing, be music. Then also, if you're not a soprano, take a look at the soprano line right here in measure 15 and 16. They've got different words than we do. They've got the full text. So they sing, may our singing be music for others, and may it keep others aloft. That's super, super important. That's the message of the entire piece. So basses, altos, and tenors, be thinking those words, even though you're just singing, may our singing be music, and may it keep others aloft. Sopranos, let's hear you from there. You ready? And sing. Lift. 1, 2, 3, push, pull, Good. And in that last measure on 3, was that 18, 19, 20. So both sopranos and tenors have, you've got that little push-pull moment, right? So you're going to lean in a little bit on 1, lean back on 2. But tenors and basses, or altos and basses, you're holding, right? You're holding over. Let's also lean into that note just a little bit. So even though we're singing basses and altos, we sing just a little bit of a lean. That way, when we sing, when we got, what's it? Then we can lean in a little there with everybody. Just a little bit of goose, setting us up for the hook. I explained this before in one of the other sectionals. I'll stop saying that. From now on, let's just do this sectional in case anybody missed the other ones. The idea here is that it's the hook, the way that you have in a pop song or a rock song. And the hook is always the most memorable part of the song. I think the example I used last time is Since You've Been Gone. Does anybody know that Kelly Clarkson song? Since You've Been Gone. To me, I think it pops in my head just because it's a perfectly constructed pop song. It does every single thing a pop song is supposed to do. Also, there's kind of a language of pop music, the really successful ones, where you try to say the title of the song within the first 60 seconds, and you try to say it as many times as possible. I think Since You've Been Gone is sung 14 or 15 times during the song, and it's the first time you hear it in the title is 20 seconds in because it's part of the first verse. But that part when she sings "Since You've Been Gone" and all the guitars kick in, that moment is the hook. That's the most memorable part. And for us in 21, this is the hook because it's the message that we want to convey most deeply to our listeners. So sing gently, always sing gently as one. And here, sopranos and altos, we're going to do our game again with push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, so gently. So sopranos and altos, when you sing this, it's not just that you're singing pianissimo, but you're singing with the intention of expressing to the people listening compassion and empathy and bigness of heart. That's more than just singing it softly. There's all of this other emotional information in there. So now let's do sopranos, altos, and basses. Basses, you've got just a little beautiful icing on the cake there on so sopranos and altos sing this, right? And then you've got, so just keep that right in the center of the pitch. Basses and yum. Tenors, you've got the most interesting part here, I think. So sopranos and altos sing always. So you're also going to lean in across the bar line. Always. Right? So that we get that whole effect. Then okay, so right here, basses, you'll sing, make sure that you sing all the way to the downbeat of 27. And then when you come in the end of 27, as one, hear the Z in there, the Z, as one. Up here, as one. And the end goes right on the downbeat of 27. Tenors, same thing for you, right? So, and tenors, I think it's okay if you need to take a breath in between sing and as one. You don't have to, but it's fine if you do. But what you're looking to do, tenors and basses, then is through 27 and 28. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, crescendo 2, boom. And what you want to do is crescendo so that you motivate that breath on beat 1 so that then we kind of launch, not in a heroic way, but in a shoulders back and face turned to the sun sort of way. Breath, and then, right? So let's take a breath between together and always. Sopranos, sing. I think you can either take a breath there if you like. If it were me, I wouldn't. I'd sing. Now breath. 1, 2, 3. And sopranos and altos in 29, you're gonna want to diminuendo all the way through that bar. Do you see that? Because what you're doing as you come up, then you get out of the way for the basses and tenors who take off. So just fade there in the background. Altos in 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I think you could also take a breath there between sing and as, but if you didn't, it might be nicer. Sing, sing as one. Oh, sorry. So let's do that again, altos. Sing, sing as one, then you're gonna come away. Good, good, good. Okay, so basses and tenors take off. Now altos, we talked about this during the sectional today, but this is a classic alto line. I always try to give my favorite lines to the altos. And what I love about this, so basses and tenors start here, then altos, you're actually lower than the tenors, and then you leap above them. So you're gonna come out of that texture. And when you go to here, that's also the soprano's first note. Stand, so you're gonna launch them. And then, so altos, this whole thing, don't tell the sopranos and tenors and basses. Sopranos, tenors, basses, plug your ears for a minute. Altos, this is all about you right here. This is alto concerto with everyone else obligato. Sopranos, you've got the glory, right? And what I want you to think when you get to that little bit is this, that before you come in, again, you're not just waiting for your part, but you're preparing. So the tenors sing, altos take that, and then we get. So really what you are, sopranos, is you're a continuation of that whole thing that's building for 3 measures all the way up, right? So that you. And then sopranos, we made a change here, if you didn't get this. In measure 33, right now it's written that you sing ways for 2 beats and then a rest. Sing it for 3 beats, sing it all the way through the bar. So a dotted half note or a dotted minim, if any of you use the British system. I think they do in Singapore, maybe, probably Australia as well. Yeah, so hold that all the way through with the altos. Then 1. Nice crescendo. Then we launch. Sopranos, let's do you. Breath. And 1, 2, 3. Push. Hold. Good, good, good. Okay, so in terms of where to take the breath, they should be pretty straightforward here, right? Sopranos and altos in 34, 35, nice crescendo all the way to the downbeat, then you launch. Basses and tenors, you're gonna take a breath a little bit before the downbeat in between 36 and 37, right? Just so that you get a nice full tank of air to sing May with that nice full sound that we're talking about. Sounds like a movie, doesn't it? I love that. So in this case, oh yeah, and basses, just in case you didn't get the note here, 34, 35, 36, it's written slightly confusing. So if you're singing bass 1, you're just gonna hold that E up there on strong, and then May you'll go. And then bass 2, you just go down to the C on beat 3, right? So you like that, we both breathe, then breathe in. Then, just so that we're all on the same page here, in measure 40, at the bottom of page 5, everybody's gonna take a breath, singing, and may we. Again, let's dance through this. May we always sing along. If you find yourself needing to take a breath in there, in those last 4 measures, at the bottom of page 3, or page 5, sorry, then again with the consonants, just be careful. Like if you need to take a breath between always and sing, just leave the S off of always. So altos. Yeah, just leave that S off so that we don't muddy it all up when we go to put this all together. Then we get to our favorite, my favorite part, but the most important part of the piece, which is this is now at measure 45. So if before when we sang the hook, we were at pianissimo, now we're at pianissimo plus. It's not necessarily it needs to be softer, it just needs to have more intention. Because what we did the first time around that we sang it, the first time we did that, we teach the audience that. It's as if they're hearing this for the very first time and they think, oh, how beautiful. But we're also writing it in their heart a little bit. And then also with each dissonance, with each note, with every time we do the sopranos and altos, the way I see that for me is that we're slowly opening the breastplate. We're just delicately opening. And then finally, when we get to this moment, we got a direct arrow to the heart in 45, right? So that we just very gently. And then tenors. I love this. This little play that you've got between the altos and sopranos. Remember how we talked about the kintsugi, right? This Japanese art form of binding these shards of pottery together. So in this case now, we've got altos and sopranos here up in 45, and basses here, and then now tenors, you become the glue. And also of our push-pull motive, tenors, you're only pull, right? So we get a little easier even. And altos, your melody singing alone in your room in 45 will sound like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pretty boring, right? What you're missing is the way it'll feel when we all get to do this in a room together, which is the sopranos in 46. You see how they go up, right? But we'll hold that note. So it'll be one of these moments where in 45, we sing together and then here, right? And so then it fills in. And also what you can't even hear on the piano is you get this, and then when the tenors sing that fifth, it activates all of these overtones in soprano and alto notes. And so what'll happen is when we sing this right, you've got to imagine this in your mind so that we sing it nice and delicately. It'll shimmer and there'll be a lot of light in the overtones. It's my favorite thing to do, where we paint calligraphy up here in the ether a little bit. So this is happening down here, but we're just playing with this up here. Then on gently, remember our push, right? So push, pull, and tenors. So tenors, again, you're gonna lean across the bar line a little bit so that we get that. And sopranos and altos, and then just touch. I discovered this a thing to describe it today when I was working with the sopranos, which is, I can't remember what the words are, but tale as old as time, ya-da-da-da-dum, right? Ya-dum, Beauty and the Beast. So it's just, it's not only the same notes that descend in seventh, but the way Angela Lansbury sings it in the movie, it's just so, it's that tender. Just touch that, and then there'll be that little bump against the tenors. And sopranos and altos, make sure you're right off on beat 2, basses 2, so that we leave 3 alone. That way the tenors have just that A all by itself. Someday, if we really, really want to get into the weeds, we can talk about background counterpoint. And if you look at all the notes that the tenors have alone, that one, then that one on beat 3, and it's ghosting this little melody. Okay, so now if we can sing, looking at 49, so sopranos and altos, breath, and altos, do a little push pull on that. So and then altos, you're gonna lean in there, right on that. Then tenors lean here. Yeah. Okay, so tenors, if you'll do the same thing in 50, where you sing one, so that we get a little diminuendo there, because really what you're doing is, if you look at the soprano line, starting on beat 1, they go, and then the altos, and then see how you continue that? So we've got push, pull, push, pull. It's all part of that line. Then basses, as 1, 2, 3, 1. Take a breath here. As, so you can be nice and full from here. Then breath, basses and baritones here. 2, breath. 2, 3, 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. And it's all you basses here. Sing gently as 1. Good. Basses, you sound spectacular. Tenors in 51 then. I think if you needed to, you could take a breath there. I prefer you didn't, but as 1, as 1. Breathe here. 1, 1. Oh, I wish I was a tenor. 1. Sing gently as 1. Good. For everybody singing that last note, 1, what you want to do is slowly close to the end. 1. Don't worry about getting there by a certain beat. Just do it nice and gradual, nice and slow. If we arrive at the end at different times, it'll be a beautiful effect once we put it all together. Sopranos, you have been doing this, some version of this, right? You've been doing some version of this 3 different times. This is the 3rd time now. So in 51, and then finally you arrive where we've been trying to go the whole piece. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Just let it soar. 2, 3, 1. And I think sopranos, if you can think on this instead of, don't worry about the of 1. This is really just Juan, as like the man's name, Juan, Juan, right? So it's a nice vowel up there. Just let that float, nice and free up there. You don't have to impress anybody. Remember, you'll probably be one of 7,000 sopranos. I don't really know what the numbers will be, but my point being, you don't have to work hard while you're up there. There's going to be enough of your sisters and brothers, if there are male sopranos up there. You're going to be heard just fine. So just make it nice and gentle. What we're looking for is a clear, clean sound. Altos, I always give my favorite lines to the altos, and this is no exception here. So altos, what you've got is starting in as 1 and pick up into 53. So then the tenors play against you, right? Then again, they bump, and then you're up here. And then you've got the tenors against you there. Then down again, tenors against you there. Then you lead us out. Very simple altos, very, very beautiful. One of us. That's funny. I get that. Oh, and of course, non-binary folks who are joining us as well. Yeah. All right, gang. So that's all of this. I think we're in good shape, right? In terms of the dots and the T's and the P's and the Q's. Why don't we try singing this with one of the videos? Okay. So first, what we're going to do is you'll see this. I'm going to put this up here. In a moment, I'll go away so you can see all of this really well. But it's the 4 vocal parts at the bottom, and then my little conductor track up there. And this is nice because then you don't have to look down at your sheet music. And let's sing it through once. All right. You're going to hear the clap at the beginning. So get ready to turn your speakers down so you don't get scared or you don't scare the cat. By the way, in case any of you wondering, I'm sure you figured this out, but the whole reason we do that clap and why I do it so loud is because then when I get these thousands of audio files, we can line up that spike. And it's the best way we found of all the different ways we found. It's just the best. You can just line up all of those spikes and then we're all singing together. It's a quick and easy and lo-fi way to put all of that together. So, all right, if you're all ready, let's try singing through this, shall we? Thinking of everything that we learned there. And I'll keep talking while we're doing this. I think my microphone will still be heard as long as we're doing this. We'll see. All right, here we go. You ready, gang? So here it is.
May we
Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Good job, everyone. I think that sounded good. I'll be honest with you. This is going to sound crazy. This may be the most California thing I've said in weeks, but I feel like I can feel the energy coming through the computer screen. Is that possible from all of you? I'd like to think it is. That's a very, not only is that a California thing to say, that's a very choir thing to say, but you all sound terrific, I think. So I think I'm seeing a couple of questions about where to breathe and that kind of thing. Let me sum that up for you real quick. So starting in 53, almost to the end, take a breath whenever you see a comma in the text. So I designed it so that those phrases you should be able to sing them in one breath. When we get to the end, just take a breath where you need to. So when you sneak back in, just make sure that we do that thing with the consonants. So the only one you really have to worry about is as one. I wouldn't say take a breath there. Take it anywhere else, and you're gonna be fine. Sing gently as one, right? It's we'll have so many singers that those rough edges will get smoothed out quite a bit. So don't worry too much about that. Just make sure that you've got a nice breath going, and and that more importantly, actually, in this case, then, is that we're singing with the right intention, which is what we were talking about from the beginning, which is that we're trying to paint this much larger idea than just the music to those people who are listening, to those people who need to hear it most. Okay, so again, what I thought we would do. What I thought we would do to end our rehearsal here tonight is we'll sing through it one more time, but this time I posted just a clip of this on social media, and it's all four of the guide track singers sort of put together in a little mini virtual choir. And that way they'll be looking at you the entire time. You can look at them, they'll be looking at you. So there won't be a conductor track, but you'll see their faces. All four of them, whenever I see this video, I tear up a little bit because I lived in London for 5 years. I live in Los Angeles now, but I still have my professional choir there in London. And all four of these singers have been with me for years and years. I mean, all four of them they're amazing professional singers. They've toured all over the world with different world-class choirs, but I've been lucky enough to also have them sing with me in my choir. But all four of them are also friends. I mean, just the bus rides, the plane trips we've taken together, all the gigs. And when I see them, and I really feel, I ache for making music together with them in a way that I didn't know I had. I'm a musician. I love music. I've been making music my whole life. I wouldn't say that I took it for granted, but it's like oxygen for me. And then suddenly to have oxygen taken away, wow, I didn't know how strong that would be, the impact that would have on my life. I'm sure all of you feel exactly the same way, just that joy of being in a room singing together. And so what I thought we could do, it's nowhere near the same, but I'll put up their video and their faces, and then at least you've got someone singing and looking right at you, so it'll be a little bit like we're in the group here. And as you're all singing together out there, even though you're alone and you've got your family or your significant other in the other room or whatever's happening in your little corner of the world, for a moment, just put yourself with everybody that's singing right now, right? That right now, how many people are online? There's 430 people, and from all over the world. Let's just take this moment and we'll all sing together. Yeah, even we'll be alone together. So, all right, here it is. Here's what they all look like, and this one doesn't start with the clap, thank God. So you can turn it up, and we'll start it. Everybody ready? Okay, here we go. Yes. I teared up. I'm not gonna lie. This is the most choir thing ever. This is the most choir thing. We're all like all over the world, all looking at our computer screen, tearing up together. That is choirs. Um, I'm I'm doing a lot of orchestra conducting, or I was before the pandemic. And I was often asked, "What's the difference between conducting a choir and an orchestra?" And I said that this actually happened to me, but like with choirs, we all hold hands at the end of performances. We do stuff like this. We're all crying. We're just so emotional. And with orchestras, you're on the podium and you say trombones. Okay, listen. When we get to measure 56, it's that it needs to sound as if the heavens are opening and that the clouds are splitting, a ray of sunlight coming down and illuminating the water. And the trombones will raise their hand and say, "Yeah, so did you want that louder?" Oh, I really love choir people. Oh, look at this, crying at my own work, self-confidence of a God. No, 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 Christina, I'm not crying at my own work. It's not the beauty of the music that I wrote. I'm tearing up because all of you are here with me. Music's music. The music that I write is just a vehicle for bringing us all together. And I'm so glad to have spent this time with you tonight, everyone. The sun is just going down here. It's quite beautiful here in Los Angeles. Beautiful weather. And I think that's it. I hope all of you are well and healthy and taking care. I hope that your extended family is well and healthy. These are some difficult, turbulent times, and I have a feeling they're going to remain difficult for a while. And that's why we do what we do. That's why as musicians and as artists, we come together like this and we make something beautiful solely for the sake of making something beautiful and giving it to others. We have this great opportunity and a responsibility to give just a little bit of peace to those who are really struggling and suffering. And I'm so honored to be doing that little thing for everyone right now with all of you. Thank you all so much. Don't forget that May 22nd, a week from tomorrow, is the deadline to submit your videos. That's the deadline. But you all promised me at the beginning of this that you're going to upload it way before next Friday, because otherwise we're going to crash the servers if we all try to do it at the end. So we've had a great rehearsal tonight. We've sung through it twice. Now you've got a good feeling for it. Just go in and record the thing, get it up there, and let's make something truly special. Thanks, everybody.